Namaste yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kassandra and today I'm going to take you through a simple 5-minute sequence. These are my top 3 favorite yoga poses for your feet and your ankles. So maybe not an area of the body that you're used to focusing on, but we accumulate a lot of tension in there. So it's important to help release it, and yoga can help us with this. So my favorite, just all time, number 1 favorite thing to do for the feet and the ankles is a pose called toe squat. And it's exactly like it sounds. You're coming into a squat directly on your toes. So as you curl your toes under, you're trying to let your hips sit down over the top of your heels. And depending on what kind of footwear you have and how much you spend time on your feet, this might be really intense, or it could be that you don't feel anything in the pose. And if your little toe curls under, you're going to want to grab it and move it out to the side. And ideally, we'd want to hold this pose maybe up to a minute or even 2 minutes in the context of a yin yoga practice. But if it's too much, feel free to just take a few breaths. Try to really let your hips sit on your heels. If it feels like too much, you can make this easier by keeping your weight forward onto your palms and just kind of easing your way in. So this will work through the bottoms of your toes all the way through the soles of your feet. So a nice, intense, juicy stretch. Take another 2 big breaths here in this pose. As you exhale, imagine any tightness and tension dissipating. And let's go ahead and release, tabletop pose. Maybe tap the feet out. You should feel that little rush of blood. And let's go into pose number 2. This is an ankle stretch. So kind of like the reverse of what we've done, this time with your toes pointing back behind you. Sit on your heels. And this time we're going to rock our weight back and see if we can lift the shins and the knees off the floor. So you'll probably feel this a little bit more through the tops of your feet, tops of the ankles, and maybe a little bit into the shins. And you can play a little bit with the distance that you have your feet. And the more you walk your hands back, the more you can lift your knees, the deeper you're going to feel this one. So I find this one to be harder to hold, so I tend to only hold it for about 5 to 10 breaths or so. But one way that you could make it easier is to put a pillow, a bolster, or a block underneath your knees and shins so that you don't have to really work too much. And careful not to contract here. Think of lifting up through your chest. And let's just take one more moment here. And coming all the way out, should feel that one as well. And now our last pose is downward dog. There are quite a few little micro adjustments you can do in down dog to really target your feet, your toes, and your ankles. So down dog, hands are shoulder width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart. And as you lift your hips up and over, keep your feet about hip width distance apart or so. Bend your knees generously and see if you can start to lift your heels off the mat and come onto the balls of the feet. So pushing into the balls of your feet. This is a great way to work the strength of your arches. And now this time, push your heels as far into the floor as you can get them. And sometimes just alternating, doing one leg after the other is easier than trying to do both. You'll get a little bit more leverage in this way. And then walking it out fully between those two, lift your right heel up as high as it can go as you push into your left heel and push into the right toes at the same time, and just alternate. So it's as if you're walking it out. Great way to get rid of any stress or tension in your feet. Think of spreading the toes wide. And stretch it out. And let's bring our knees down on the floor. So I don't know about you, but my feet definitely feel a lot more alive. And there's a lot less tension in the soles of the feet as well as in the ankle. So these are simple things that you can do every day, especially if you have a lot of foot cramps or if you suffer from flat feet. This is definitely very helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to practice again with you soon. Please do subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out 3 times a week, so a lot of content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much. Namaste.